My name is Dillinger. I was homeless for 3 years. It was okay. Um, Before COVID, we lived well, had a 3-bedroom apartment, and we just had our son. During COVID, I got laid off. A lot of businesses were shut down, and we decided to move to Oregon. We had we didn't know the housing situation up here, and we came up here, and it was hard. It's hard to find housing. Then my kids would have to sleep on the streets, and then I wouldn't be able to provide for them. That's my biggest fear. And I'm just grateful that they didn't. It really affected my mental health. I was stressed out, exhausted. Um, Me and the wife, we took jobs and we worked continuously to afford hotel rooms. So I was irritable, sad all the time. Yeah, for sure. A lot of people looked at me like I was a drug user, that I was lazy, that I was a bad father. In fact, a man one time told me, he said, "Son, you're a bad father having your kids living in hotel rooms." It's heartbreaking. You know, probably about 50-50. Like, some people were just straight bad, they poor, treated us poorly. But some people, you know, would go out of their way to help us. They would offer us food and clothing for our kids and would treat us well. Yeah, I can. There were times that when we were seeking assistance to find housing where people would say that they would help us and we'd never hear from them again. And it made me feel less than human, like a dog, or worthless, worthless in another man's eyes, and it's not a good way to feel. My wife, her strength and love and support, and the love of my family gave me the strength I needed to pull us back and get us in the right position in life. We tried a couple of different places, and like, they just brushed us off. And then through a lady at my kids' school, she helped us out with community connections. We were offered some school supplies for our kids. They gave us clothing. Uh, they offered us food assistance, but we had no way to cook it. A lot of the stuff that they were offering, we were given. That's pretty much it. There wasn't. Yes. After a while, we were finally able to start saving money, and struggling hard, but still putting up money until we could build ourselves up from the ground up. Essentially, we you know worked real hard. We were putting in like 17, 18-hour days. Sometimes we would deliver food, and one of us would drive while the other slept, and then turn around and trade places. And it was a struggle, but we finally managed to crawl our way up. good. Knowing that my kids were safe, we felt, man, it was amazing, like knowing that we were doing what we needed to do was a real relief. And, you know, our kids being able to build up friendships in their school, it's amazing. It's really amazing. Safety for me while we were living on the streets was just mostly about safety for my kids and having to worry about them having to wake up in the middle of the night to move, or having to worry about them being taken from us because we weren't able to properly provide for them. And now, safety, like my kids feel safe. They don't have to worry about really anything. It's real safe. Good neighborhood. Live in a real good neighborhood. And everything's going real good right now. Nah, I I really don't think the public does. Like they see the tents, but most people probably think that it's just laziness when really most of it is just a lot, like most of it's mental illness. You see these guys and they walk around talking to themselves and hollering and just absent-mindedly just wandering, and it may be mental illness, and a lot of it is addiction and substance abuse. But it's to wonder if people really see what it's like here in Eugene. No, I don't think so. No. That's a good question. I think that most people don't realize how real of a thing homelessness is, and it could happen to them. Uh, you know, we before we came up here hadn't been homeless like that. Uh, it's it's so real that it could happen quick, where you lose your job and you lose your funds. Uh, like say you have bad credit. A lot of places won't even rent to you if you have bad credit, and there's no way to build that up without funds. So it's real, like becoming homeless is a real possibility for a lot of people. So everybody should just be aware of that, I think, yes. a lot of the resources that we were told were available, like Homes for Good. Homes for Good had like a 3-year waiting list, 4-year waiting list. And I had talked to other people who were on that list that had been waiting for a long time. The community had a little more insight of what actual resources they had compared to what we could find on our own. So reaching out reaching out for help in your community, that's a good first step. Like I said, reach out. There's people you can talk to. There's people you can call. There's missions. You could go to your church. But it's one of those things where you can't get help if you don't ask. So you should always ask. I would like to thank them. There's a couple people who went above and beyond for us when we were in need. And if I could go to them and thank them, I would. For sure, for sure. That there is help. There's help out there. There are people, man, there are people you can call. There are people you can go to. There's missions here, there's shelters here. If you're a woman, there are specific women's shelters here. There's hut houses. There is safe places everywhere. The fire department, that's one of them. If you ever feel you're in danger, you can go to any of the fire departments here and just ask for help and they can help you. It's one of those things where the help is there, and if you need it, you can call them and they will help you. Okay? Whether you're struggling with addiction, there's rehabs here. There's the churches. You can go to most of these churches around here and ask for help and they will help you. Okay? But it's one of those things where if you seek help, you have to be able to also help yourselves. So the help is there. Ask for it. Find it and let them help you.